The United States is broken, okay? It's broken, and it cannot be fixed. Oh my God. It's not good. Listen, all empires crumble to the ground. It's the nature of reality. America is no different. America is an empire, and it's in decline. Why is it in decline? It's in decline not because of mismanagement or, bad politicians or whatnot. It's in decline because the idea of it in the first place is flawed. And we are seeing now the advanced decay, the advanced rot in the system that is the American government and the American system. And it will die. It's going to die. When? I don't know. It's like a patient in a hospital. It's kind of hard to say exactly when it's going to die or he's going to die, but it's going to happen. $38 trillion, I believe, in federal debt now, and that's just one layer of American debt. There's also private debt, there's corporate debt, there's incredibly large amounts of debt. And why is there so much debt? It's because in the American system, which is actually the global system, and this happens all over the world, you cannot create a dollar. You cannot create $1 without creating $1 of debt plus even more debt. So what I'm trying to say is every dollar has more than $1 attached, more than $1 of debt attached to it. Oh my God, you can't sustain that. Eventually, the debt becomes too big, it becomes unpayable, and you run into a situation where we are now. They're basically, I think their plan is they're going to try to inflate away the debt. They're going to inflate the currency so that the debt goes down, theoretically, but they're going to destroy the currency in the process and thereby destroy the economy. It's an unwinnable game. It's over. It's over. America's finished. And you can't just point the finger at, Trump and say, oh, he did it, or Biden and say, oh, he's the one who broke America. No, it's way more than one person. This is like a breakdown of a system that was flawed in the very beginning. And we know the American government was formed by the founding fathers, and they were what? They were slave owners. They weren't exactly the highest moral caliber of people. They owned people, most of them. Not all of them, okay, but most of them. And when you have a system set up by people like that, it's just doomed to fail. And I think, America, it's not like it's a complete failure. It served some purpose, and it did some good things. I'm not going to say it did everything it did was bad. No, it served some good things, but fundamentally it's flawed. And things that are fundamentally flawed will always fall into ruin. This is just like Rome, just like all the empires in the past that are gone, that are wiped from the pages of history. Same thing's going to happen with America. So prepare yourself accordingly, Listen, when America's gone, the sun will still be there. The air will still be there. The land will still be there. So when America's gone, let's find a way to organize ourselves in such a way that brings us vitality, that brings us life, that brings us abundance, okay? Let's just not kill each other and whatever. And you know what? I think when America's gone, my suggestion is that different enclaves form their own sort of nations, for lack of a better word. So, like, if you want to be like, trans and liberal and pay lots of taxes, then you go live over there. If you want to be conservative and pay very small taxes and have free markets, then you go live in a separate place, separate from these trans people. Like, why try to force these groups together? Allow them to be separate and then see which one does better. And then people can have the free choice, like, oh, I can go live in the trans colony, or I can go live in the conservative colony, or I can go live in the libertarian colony. Like, you will have freedom of choice to live in a type of environment that you want to live in, as opposed to like forcing everybody together into this supposed, melting pot that never really melts, and it just ends up with people just fighting each other for control and trying to control each other, and it's ridiculous. The conservatives want to control the gays want to, tax the conservatives, and it's just ridiculous. Just separate, and live and let be, and there's plenty of space in the landmass, that we call America, and that will soon be formally called America, and let's just learn how to get along and live and let live, and let them have their space, we'll have our space, and that's just how it is. I don't know, I could be wrong about everything I've just said, every single thing, but I don't think so. So yeah, long and short, America's broken, and it cannot be fixed, and it should not be fixed. It's a waste of time to try to fix this machine. We should just allow this machine to deteriorate. And the machine, as I said, it did serve us to an extent, but it's a waste of our time and our energy to get all the parts and figure out exactly how to fix this machine, because it's just a waste of time. Let's build a new machine, And as I said, I think the new machine should be more based on kind of like different colonies, different groups, allowing, like, doing what they want to do within that colony, and not forcing their viewpoints or whatever on other little colonies which do what they want to do. As I said, so you have, your trans kind of LGBT colony over here, you have your conservative colony over here. They can kind of trade with each other, but they don't force each other. They don't force their values and their lifestyles on each other the way it kind of is in American politics now. The conservatives, when they get in power, they force their values on, onto the Democrats and vice versa, and it's just a mess. So yeah, I guess that's about all I got to say. Yeah, America's done. It's finished, and it was a good run. And there's some good ideas too. I'm not even saying I love some of the ideas, freedom and kind of democracy. I think some of the ideas of democracy are good, but it's not even like there's horrible. All of America is bad, but I think the core of the American idea is wrong, and the core of it was kind of something along the lines of, we deserve to have power, we deserve to have this land. They stole the land from the native people. We know that. Maybe not even say that, but they dominated the land that the native people were living on, and they forced the native people into these reservations, and that's just another legacy of America, which is just awful and needs to be addressed. And I think when America does die, that there needs to be some negotiation, some sort of allowance to allow the native peoples of the Americas to have at least some of the land to call their own. But as I said, I think I shouldn't be that strict. I think it should be like everyone who's in America now should kind of negotiate who's going to live where and who's going to do what. And as I said, separate colonies, libertarian colony, conservative colony, liberal colony, and just maybe trade with each other, as I said, but don't force each other's values on each other. And don't try to pretend that you can have a nation together, because it just doesn't work, because it just ends up with one group forcing another group to do what they want to do, and that just doesn't work. And that's why these separate colonies, these separate groups, separate tribes, whatever you want to call it, would probably be the best way. So, all right, yeah, long story short, America's broken, can't fix it. Shouldn't fix it. It's good. It's good that it's broken, because we can now create a new system. And yeah, this is the worst of times, but also the best of times, because when something old dies, it can nourish the ground so that something new and beautiful can grow, and that's just where we are. And what's the timeline of all this? I don't know, but it could happen sooner than we think, and it could happen very quickly. I think Rome fell, gradually. But then when it really fell, it fell like very quickly, like the decay set in, and it maybe took centuries for that decay to, manifest its way throughout the entire Roman Empire. But when the fall actually came, it was very quick, I'm pretty sure, because the defenses were down. I think it was the Goths, and they just marched into Rome and they took it, and a similar thing is probably going to happen in America. Although I don't really see it as it's not really going to be like an army marching on Washington. I think it's just going to be more like Washington losing all of its abilities to exert power over the world, which is a good thing, again, because Washington has just done so many awful things to so many people. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. And yeah, and let's remember, don't just blame one person and say it's Trump who broke the system or it's Biden. It doesn't make sense. It's we all did it. We all supported a system that was unsustainable. We all believed it could work when it couldn't, and yeah. All right. So yeah, great news, I guess. Yeah, America's gonna die, but yeah, does that make me treasonous? I don't know. I'm not even American, so how can I be treasonous against a country I'm not part of? But that's what I see. I'm just saying what I see. Like, I see a country in decline. I see a population in decline, and I see it dying. But I also, as I said, I see that death nourishing a fertile ground that can sprout something unbelievably gorgeous, something so abundant and amazing that we can't even imagine how beautiful and amazing it'll be. And that's what I see in the future. I got hope, got big hopes. All right, people. This has been This has been the Economic Matrices channel, and I hope you subscribe and like. We just kind of talk about the economic matrices. That's the plural of matrix. The economic matrices which we all live. So like the medium, we talk about the medium, the surrounding of the economics that impact our lives. Because economics is really maybe not everything, but it's huge. It's a huge part of existence, whether we like it or not. All right, cool. All right, take it easy. Till next time. Peace.